In this video, we're going to go through how you add, subtract, multiply, or divide with decimals. In this first example, we're subtracting. Addition and subtraction are set up in the same way, so I will do just a subtraction example here. We're going to set them up vertically, which means one on top of the other. When you're adding or subtracting, you need to keep in mind your place value, which means I need to align the right place values with each other. Okay, so the decimal point should be directly underneath. Okay, this way, when I put in my digits, for example, this 5 is in the ones place, so I'm matching it up with the 8 that is also in the ones place. And we write one digit on top of the other. And where we have nothing else, I'm going to fill in with 0 placeholders. And now this is all set up. So let's go ahead and try to do the subtraction. Starting on the right hand side, I'm going to take 6 away from 0, which I can't do. So I'm going to try to regroup. I can't regroup from this 0 either, so I go all the way to the 3. This becomes 2. Okay, I would carry a 1 there to make that 10, but then I need to regroup so I can carry 1 to the last 0. Now I can just subtract. Okay, the top number 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 3 is 6. Okay, again, now I'm going to try to take 9 away from 2, which is too much. So I regroup from the 5, carrying the 1, so now 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. Need to regroup from the 6, cross that off, 1 less is 5, so that this can become 14. 14 minus 6, 5 minus 0, and then all we need to do, because we've already lined up our decimal, is drop it down. Okay, so we follow that same process for any that are adding or subtracting. For a problem where we have multiplication, I'm going to set this problem up without writing the decimals. So instead of 5.7, I'm 57. Instead of 3, I'm just 3. Okay, remember when we multiply, we're taking this first digit, multiplying by everything up top. I'm going to change this problem real quick. I'm going to make this times 0.23. So I start by multiplying by the 3. 3 times 7 will give me 21. So I put down the 1 and carried the 2. 3 times 5, I do the multiplication first, is 15. Then I add in the 2 I carry, which becomes 17. Okay, I have multiplied both the 7 and the 5 by the 3. I'm going to cross that off and move on to multiplying by the 2. Right. The 2 is the second digit. It's in the tens place, so it's really important to remember a 0 placeholder, because I'm really multiplying by 20, not just by 2. I follow the same steps, so 2 times 7 first is 14, down a 4, carrying that 1, and then 2 times 5, multiply before adding, is 10, then I add the 1 that I carried for 11. I have now taken 2 and multiplied it by everything on top, so I'm done with the 2, and I have no more numbers to multiply. So then I add these two products together, and my last step is now to figure out where should my decimal go. I look back at the original numbers and I count how many total decimals I see. I have 1, 2, 3. So I'll move this over once, twice, 3 times. So my answer becomes 1.311. All right, I'm going to put a decimal into this problem as well, just to show you what to do with the decimal. Okay, let's say I want to take 270 and divide it by 8/10. Okay, when we see a decimal in a problem like this, okay, it's okay if it's in the first number, but I need to move it if it's in the second. Okay, so I need this to become a whole number, so I would shift it one place so that this becomes the whole number. If I am moving it in the second number, I need to keep this even and move it in the first. So the decimal point in a whole number is after the ones. So I would move it just one place and fill in with a 0. Okay, so this problem becomes 2,700 divided by 8. For those of you still getting better at the skill of long division, again, it might be helpful for you to start by listing out some of your multiples, which you can pull from a multiplication chart as needed. Okay, so I tried to divide 8 into the 2, so how many groups of 8 could I make from 2? Okay, because 2 is smaller, I can't make any groups. So now I'm going to take 27 and divide it by 8. Okay, if I'm looking at my list, I'm choosing the number that's close to 27 but not bigger, which will give me the 24, which represents 3 groups. Write that number on top. The next step when we divide is then to multiply. 8 times 3 is 24, and I'm going to put that underneath the 27 I divided in. The fourth step is to subtract. And then the last step, I'm going to bring down. After I bring down, I repeat these steps all over again. Looking at my list, now I'm taking 30 and dividing it by 8. Again, I can make 3 groups because 32 is too many. Multiply, 3 times 8 is 24. Putting that underneath the 30 and subtracting. That's 6. Bring down, so this becomes 60. I continue adding to this list. 8 times 7, 8 times 8. Okay, I can divide 60 by 8. That's 7 groups. 7 times 8 is 56, so that gets subtracted. When you have a remainder, we don't want to write R anymore for a remainder. We're going to add a decimal point so that we can add a 0 to bring down. The decimal point comes right up into the answer. Bring down this 4. 40 divided by 8 works out perfectly to 5 groups. 40 minus 40, and I have no remainder left. Okay, again, really important, bring your decimal point directly up when you are having a decimal on the inside. And again, when you look at any division problem, so for example, if I had 52.6 divided by 3, this is okay. I don't have to shift my decimal at all because I can have a decimal here, but not here. Okay, be careful when you're moving decimals. I'll show you one more example. Say I have 0.257 divided by 0.36. Okay, when you're moving it, you need to count carefully. So move it one place at a time. Once, twice, gets rid of it, so this becomes the whole number 36. And so I'm only moving it twice here. Once, twice. So there's still a decimal here in my first number, which is fine, as long as you get rid of the decimal in the second. Hopefully your practice today goes well. There are a few other videos on YouTube that match up with this if you need to see a few more examples.